Welcome everyone. It's finally time for my Nightmare on Elm Street tier list. So I don't really know what to say. I'm going to rank or do a tier list or whatever on all of these movies except for the 2010 remake or whatever, because I don't know, I just really just want to do this tier list, and I just don't really care watching the 2010 remake or whatever, because there could be a lot like less movies in this franchise. You know, because Freddy dies in so many movies. He dies. Yeah, he comes back, obviously. I mean, it's a slasher franchise, so the killer, of course, comes back again and again and again and again. And yeah, so the categories we've got is the dreamy, good, watchable, snooze fest, and nightmare. So yeah, and I just want to say this tier list is I think Cody Leach's or something like that. You should check his channel out. So I'm maybe just like borrowing this tier list or whatever. I hope that's okay for him, but yeah. So so I'm gonna begin with the first movie at least. Starting off with the original Nightmare on Elm Street, the 1984 one, I think. I don't really know. And this one is obviously going up in dreamy. I mean, this is just a classic horror movie. It's a great horror movie. It's a great movie. I don't really know what to say. It's very let's just second movie. Where do we got the second movie? Okay. Number 2, I'm gonna put in good, because this might be a bit like maybe surprising or something, but even though this movie is quite silly and stuff, I think it's still got, I mean, Freddy's still pretty mean in this movie. You know, you see a lot of that now. You see a lot of the things that Nightmare on Elm Street movies have in this movie, if that makes sense. But I don't really know what to say. I mean, it's a pretty good sequel, you know. It has some silly moments in there, definitely, but then it also has some memorable moments in there, and it has some nice kills and stuff like that. So I don't really know what to say. I think it's a good sequel, whatever. So yeah, and here we go. Now we got Dream Warriors. There it is. This might be controversial or not, but I don't really know. So it feels like I've heard a few people, they either like the original more than Dream Warriors, or they like Dream Warriors more than the original, or maybe which one you prefer. Now, even though the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie is really good, it's a really great classic horror movie, I do prefer the third one a bit, because just a tiny bit, just a bit. This is mostly just because, I mean, Freddy is he has a lot of his lines in this movie, of course. The kills are pretty good. The movie can be quite silly, but that's what I like about the movie. I just really like the people in this movie, or the actors or whatever. I like it that Nancy's back in this movie, and I like it that I don't really know what to say, so I do prefer it slightly over the original, but still both great movies. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. I just really like Dream Warriors, and it's really rewatchable for me too. And the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie is also, of course, very rewatchable, and the same with the second one. It's a bit rewatchable for me. But now I'll shut up. Let's just go to the next one. I think this is the fourth movie. Yeah. Watchable, I think, because I don't know. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I don't know. I do remember a few scenes in this movie. I do remember the classroom scene or whatever, which is pretty cool. I do like that scene, but there's just something about this movie. I think with like all the new actors and stuff, it kind of just took me some time to get used to them. So it's not. It has some memorable scenes and stuff there, but it's still. I don't really know, but I'm gonna have Nightmare on Elm Street 4 on watchable because yeah, I don't really know what to say. Now we've got The Dream Child. This one is it's not a nightmare, but it's a snooze fest. Snooze fest, I don't mean snooze fest like I'm sleeping when I'm watching the movie. That's kind of just a way of saying that a Nightmare on Elm Street movie is bad, for example. Because up here we have dreamy, that obviously means for the Nightmare on Elm Street, if you talk about those movies, you can say that, the third movie and the first movie is dreamy. And then if you talk about like Freddy's Dead, you can say, oh, what a nightmare. So, but it's not really a snooze fest. But this movie's just, I don't know, Freddy has a really weird look in this movie, in my opinion. And it's just, I don't really know what to say. I think that a few of the kills are just okay. But what I do kind of appreciate with this movie, the story is also pretty weird, and it's not really a great movie, even for being a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's just meh. So I wouldn't say it's a bad Nightmare on Elm Street movie, because the creativity in this movie is very high, and I mean a lot of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies have creativity, but this one still has really much creativity in it. So that's what I really appreciate with this movie, though, and it's got some cool scenes. That food scene or whatever is a bit, I mean, it's a bit weird and stuff, but it's still quite gross and quite effective on being a bit disturbing and stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm going to have Nightmare on Elm Street 5 on the snooze fest, even though it's not really a snooze fest for me, but you know. Next up, we've got Freddy's Dead. This one's going up in Nightmare. This movie sucks. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this movie. I don't have to say that much, I think. Freddy in this movie is just really weird. Not scary. It's just not funny. The movie doesn't have some great kills. The acting in the movie is pretty bad. The characters aren't likeable. The movie has some really bad CGI. It's just, I mean, I could call this movie horrendous or like terrible for being a just a movie in general, but for being a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, it's still very bad. So so you see, it's like no matter what, it's still just a very bad movie, it feels like. So I don't really know what to say. It's my least favorite movie in the franchise. So yeah, that's how it's gonna go. Whatever. Right, now we've got Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This movie is kind of like a bit of like a meta movie. I don't know, this movie's pretty confusing in the franchise. You know, it's a very different Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's not like we have to escape teenagers and they have to escape this Freddy, obviously. This is more kind of like, I can't really explain this movie that much. It's like, I can't even explain it. You guys can just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but there's a lot going on in this movie, but I don't really know what to say. I mean, I like Freddy's new look in this movie. It's pretty good. I do like the characters. I like it that Nancy's back in this movie, or Hedda Langenkamp, whatever you want to say. And I like it that the directors even, I like it that Wes Craven is acting in this movie. Then you've got Robert Englund when he's not Freddy Krueger. So it's a pretty cool and unique movie. But I don't really know what to say, but this one is good. I don't really know what to say. I prefer it to Nightmare on Elm Street 2. So yeah, but alright, that's how it's gonna go. And then last now we've got Freddy versus Jason. Now, alright, Freddy versus Jason, I'm gonna put on the watchable thingy tier or whatever. Yeah. Now, I mean, the story in this movie isn't great. I haven't seen the Friday the 13th movies, but I don't really want to because it's like 13 or 12 movies and all of them are basically the same thing. I mean, it's like that with a lot of slasher franchises. It's like that with this franchise, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and then some other ones. I don't really know, but yeah, but this one, what I can appreciate my positives with Freddy vs. Jason, this movie does have some pretty good kills. Has a lot of blood in it and stuff, and that's kind of what I want. I do think that the showdown between, like, you know, Freddy and Jason is pretty cool and stuff. But, I mean, this is a Freddy movie. This is a horror movie, and horror movies are known for, one thing, I mean, not having that great acting. A lot of, I don't know, 50% or more of horror movies have, like, teenagers, have, like, teenagers as the main characters, and the acting definitely isn't great in this movie. I don't care that much about the characters. I don't know, I mean, if we're speaking, if this is a good movie for real, this movie would probably be bad. I could call this movie bad. But for being like a Freddy Krueger movie or whatever, it's a very good movie probably. So, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it on watchable. I think I do prefer Nightmare on Elm Street 4 a bit more, but I don't really know what to say. So that's my tier list or whatever. Do you guys agree or not? I don't know. Is it worth checking out the 2010 movie or whatever? I don't really know. Well, thank you for watching.